Oh, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is here with me today on the show. What is the Raw sabotage, the Smackdown retribution, the masked men flickering the lights, cutting the mics, and attacking the people behind the glass on SmackDown? What is going on in the WWE? Who are these goons? And what is Raw Underground? All that and much more coming up today on Wrestling Uncensored. RingsideReport.net is the website. Go there, check out everything that we do. Johnny North is right there. It's hot in the city. We're in our tanks. We're ready to go. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And when you do, the bell. Thank you. Click that bell so you get notifications every time that we are on. We're on the road to WWE SummerSlam. It will take place, 2 weeks? 2 weeks from Sunday? It's not this Sunday.
20.
It's not next Sunday.
23rd.
Yeah, it's the Sunday after. So we've got 2 episodes of Raw and SmackDown before we get to WWE SummerSlam. Of course, we will be on live here on the YouTube channel for a SummerSlam watch along. Definitely don't forget to support our sponsors, Manscaped.com. Use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping on your order. IP Vanish. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. And also Stitcher Premium. Go to stitcher.com/premium and use the promo code Ringside to get a free month of Stitcher Premium. So support the sponsors. Hit us up on Super Chat if you are watching us live here on a Saturday morning on the YouTube channel. Support us if you're on Facebook Live as well or listening to us on all the different podcast apps. Give us a 5-star review. Leave a positive comment and all that good stuff. Support the Ringside Report Network. Support Wrestling Uncensored, bringing you the real wrestling opinions from real professional wrestling people. Johnny North is a great professional wrestler, has been for a long time. I've been watching wrestling my entire life. And yes, I watch Raw and SmackDown each and every week, so you don't have to. And we've been doing so since 2006. Every single week, every single pay-per-view, nothing missed, without fail, for nearly 15 years now on Wrestling Uncensored and the Ringside Report Network. So we've seen something like this before, the Raw sabotage. It reminded me of the Nexus debut. You know, they come out, bunch of guys, kind of unknown. You didn't know who the Raw sabotage people were. You knew who the Nexus people were because they didn't have the ski masks and the hoodies on. You could see the Nexus face. You can't see any of these guys' faces. Started happening on Raw with microphones glitching out, people cutting promos and the mics going dead, lights flickering for some reason in the arena. It seemed like somebody was sabotaging something. There was something afoot. And then, of course, they show us some thugs on Raw outside of the Performance Center. These people with the masks on and the hoods, they have baseball bats and they're smashing this giant piece of equipment. They smash it to pieces. It, sparks up and kind of explodes. They celebrate. And that was that for Raw. But then they returned on SmackDown, and, it was weird. So they come out. The lights are flickering. A bunch of dudes with bats and metal pipes take over the ringside area. They chase off Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and then some cameramen. Of course, they still have the hard cam. And they're just smashing stuff around the ring. They're spray painting. One guy did a WWE logo with a circle and the bar through it. No WWE, even though they're on WWE TV and WWE doesn't cut away from them when they're, threatening their employees and smashing up their set. Like, the show went on. They didn't cut backstage and cut the commercial. They didn't say, technical difficulties, please bear with us. They just kept the camera on those people. So obviously it's, fine. It's part of the show. The NXT people, the trainees, they remained behind the glass, and then eventually the goons in the ring were like, oh, let's attack some of these trainees. So then they go out and they start beating up people. They see a woman there. I don't know who she was, but the woman starts getting attacked, and you're like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? And then one of the people in the ski masks kind of pulls out like a ponytail from out from under to kind of reveal, hey, I'm a woman. This is a woman-on-woman attack. There's nothing bad going on here. So that was good that they kind of exposed that. Not sure why, in a real-life situation they would expose that, but of course it's a TV show, so the WWE has to let you know, hey, I know you can't tell that this is a woman, but by the way, she's going to lift up her mask to let you know it's a woman-on-woman attack, so it's okay. They chainsawed the ring ropes. They had a chainsaw out of nowhere. I don't know where that came from. They didn't come to the ring with the chainsaw. They smashed the ring ropes. They cut up the ring ropes with the chainsaw, and that was SmackDown. That's how they ended the show. So, what is this? They called them the Raw Sabotage on Raw. On SmackDown, they called them the Retribution. And I feel like after a few days, they probably had some time to figure out what they want to call them. So maybe the Retribution is what they're going with. Maybe it's just the Forgotten Sons, like Under Masks. And Lars Sullivan, and maybe people like that. Who knows? I don't know. This is all bizarre, but it comes in a week where the WWE, they're clearly trying some new things. They are attempting to revive this show that is in the toilet. AEW beat Raw in the 18-34 demo for the first time, I think, ever this week. So not good. Not good for Raw, even with the change-up, even with Raw Underground. Still didn't seem to do that well ratings-wise. But I will say I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because it's something new, it's something different, and I'm not really sure where they're going with it. But at the same time, there's that thing in the back of my mind that says, well, it's a WWE, so you're not really going to get a fun ending to this. There's not going to be a conclusive finish. There's not going to be an interesting twist. It's just going to be, more of the same WWE stuff. This isn't going to end off and all make sense in the end. I don't think the WWE's really sure what they're doing with this. I'm not sure they have a plan. I'm not sure they even know who's under the masks. So on the one hand, I am interested. It's something new, it's something different, and there is a mystery to it. But on the other hand, every time WWE does one of these mysteries, like by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay. You remember the Lana, Bobby Lashley, Rusev storyline? Remember the hacker gimmick that never went anywhere? I mean, remember so much. So much from the WWE that just never really panned out. I mean, even the Nexus, very similar to this group, they had a face, they had a name, and they didn't really pan out. I mean, who's left from the Nexus? Anybody?
Well, Daniel Bryan.
Well, Daniel Bryan, but he was kicked out of the group like after the first night, right? They fired him. So, as far as the real Nexus that really got going, there is literally no one left from that group that they tried to debut and make hot. So, I don't have faith in the WWE to keep this going. I don't have faith in the WWE that they actually have a plan. If I were to bet, I would bet that they don't even know who's under the mask. They might have an idea of one or two people that they would like, but I would bet that no one that's under that mask has been told that they're going to get a push or they have a story in place or whatever. I think everybody that's been under the mask has been an extra. It's been people that they just didn't use as audience members, but they're not like a group Like, they're not all going to take off their masks and be like, yep, this is who we are. We're the Undisputed Era and a couple other people. Like, that's not what this is. This is a bunch of extras filling a role. Like, the same people under the masks, the hoods, they're probably the ninjas with Tozawa. Like, it's probably the same guys, right?
It's very possible that could be something like that. It's just when it actually does get revealed, though, it's probably not going to be these extras. It won't be the ninjas. It'll actually be someone of note. Right. So I think that's what we're leading towards. And it has to be a woman, right? Because there was at least one woman reveal-ish.
Yeah. Well, there's a woman in the group, that's for sure. There's a woman and there's a bunch of dudes. What's your feel on this? Are you, do you think it's going to pay off? Do you think there's any chance this actually pays off and we're happy with the result?
Oh, happy. I don't think wrestling fans are ever happy. Wrestling fans always want more, and no, there's always a negative side to it. But I think this is leading to something that they want to make into a big deal. I think they're trying to push a bunch of new stars, and I think the way to do it is to pretty much put a faction together and get people talking about it. Mm-hmm. I could see a bunch of people from NXT, maybe some people that on SmackDown aren't really being used that much. They can use this to help put them as a platform to help build them up. It'd be really great to see that. Just for me, a lot of it's not making a lot of sense, unfortunately, and that's the problem with it. Like, they come out, like they all look like jobbers pretty much under the mask. Like, it just seems like they're all extras, like you say. Like,
nobody looks super imposing, right? Body wise, like the shape of them, nobody looks huge, right? I know what you're saying.
And like they come out and like they attack everyone around the ring, but some people around the ring, the development talent, are just there. They're angry, and for whatever reason, they all just left. Like, a lot of it didn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you leave if the show is being under attack? Like, why didn't a bunch of officials come out? Like, a lot of it didn't make any sense whatsoever. But again, like, this is just something they put together. It feels like out of nowhere almost. So I think they're just kind of going off the seat of their pants right now and just seeing how this works.
Why would you leave? Why would it take 5 dudes to take over the entire WWE? Doesn't make the rest of the WWE look very strong, like Sheamus and Baron Corbin and Matt Riddle couldn't have come out and just beat everybody up. Really?
Well, with wrestlers, I'll give them the excuse that it's like, well, I don't want to put myself at risk here, like, I don't have to. They have security for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that officials didn't come out, nothing like that, the fact that, development wrestlers were there and they saw their own, like, fellow wrestlers get beat up and they did nothing about it, that seemed kind of, like, ridiculous. But, again, like, I don't think it's something they really thought through completely. It's just an idea they had. They threw it out there, and that's what we got.
Best case scenario, who's under the mask?
I'd like it to be Tommaso Ciampa. I'd like it to be a bunch of guys from NXT. Undisputed Era would be great as well. But again, like, looking from what we just saw, it doesn't seem like it could really be much of any of those guys. Because again, it just seemed like a bunch of extras. It didn't seem like it'd be someone like Undisputed Era. It didn't seem like it'd be like Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, like guys like that. It didn't seem like that whatsoever.
It looked like it was probably like Tony Nese and, guys like that. Maybe guys that have been on 205 Live that you just kind of forgot about. Something like that.
That's what it definitely seemed like. And those guys that are pretty much like Leon Ruff, like guys like that, it really seemed like it. I think he recently got signed actually by WWE. You've seen him a couple of times. But yeah, exactly. Like, it's stuff like that where it's like these bunch of almost no names that weren't really that special whatsoever. It seems like they were used, and then they're just going to switch it. It's just going to seem kind of stupid afterwards.
Leo Rush?
Leon Ruff.
It's pretty close.
I know, it's pretty. We mentioned it before in the past too. Remember?
No, I don't at all.
It's not a great thing to remember, so it's fine. You don't remember.
Yeah, I remember Tahuti Miles. Tahuti.
Okay. Maybe he was involved. Who knows?
Oh, maybe Tahuti. Maybe Dexter Loomis. Although Dexter Loomis is busy, I think, doing NXT
Injured.
things. Is he injured? Oh, I didn't know.
Apparently, when he did that flipping dive to the outside, land on his feet, apparently he tweaked his ankle, so he might not even be in that NXT ladder match now.
What a shame. I don't care about that. Raw Underground. Let's talk about Raw Underground. So Shane McMahon is hosting this thing. It's like a warehouse type atmosphere. There's a black ring. There's no ropes. And there's dancing girls. Dava Kato is a 7-foot big guy who's making his Raw debut. Shane seems to think this guy, Dava Kato, is a big deal. He looks impressive. He looks like a bad guy in a Ninja Turtles movie, you know? He throws axe handles from side control against some jobber, which is like, what? Like, this is supposed to be, it's got the appeal, you know, it's got the look and feel of like a Fight Club, like half MMA style thing. And then the first bit of combat, Dava Kato does a throw. He gets a guy in side control. And then he throws double axe handles from side control. Have you ever seen anybody in the UFC go like this? Boom, boom, double axe handles in the UFC? Ever. I mean, maybe from mount, like as a joke or whatever when you're smashing somebody, but when you're trying to put somebody away, a double axe handle from side control, first of all, you're going to lose all your positioning from that side control. A double axe handle is not a strike that you'll see in a real fight because it leaves you wide open and you can see it coming a mile away. It's a terrible strike, yet Dava Kato was landing them at will in this Raw Underground. And then there's a referee there, but Shane, for some reason, with a microphone, is the one stopping the fight. Like, Dava Kato starts beating up on a guy. There's a ref there. The ref doesn't do anything. Shane steps in. He's like, okay, that's enough. And he separates everybody. And he's like, okay, who's next? Who wants some? Oh, you over here? Okay. And there's like a bunch of guys around the ring. Nobody's social distancing. Nobody's wearing a mask. I was like, whoa. What is going on?
I saw some
here?
masks.
You did? Okay, I didn't notice. But they were not social distancing. They were all kind of crowding around. And, yeah, Dava Kato beats up another guy. And that was the first segment of Raw Underground. And then Eric of the Viking Raiders was on Raw Underground beating up, as Shane called him, some tough kid. Bunch of no-name jabronis on this show. The dancing girls almost get into a fight. Shane's like looking at them and tells them they can fight next week. Which, like, I don't know if that's really going to happen. The Hurt Business, MVP and his guys, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, they think Raw Underground and the Raw Sabotage are all linked, which maybe. They both showed up at the same time, so it would make sense. Dolph Ziggler is on Raw Underground. They talk about his amateur wrestling background, and he's beaten up some guy. And Dolph's grappling actually looked the more legitimate of all of the grappling that I saw on Raw Underground, because Dolph is a real amateur wrestler. He really knows what he's doing. I liked how he got a back mount and then flattened the guy out. You could see him flatten him out. The sink in of the rear naked choke was a little sloppy. You could tell Dolph is like a wrestler, but maybe not a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't think Dolph is much of a submission artist as far as that's concerned, because just the application of that rear naked choke didn't look slick, but I did like how he flattened the guy out, so that was all right. And then, he beats up the guy, makes him tap out. And then Bobby Lashley and MVP and Shelton show up on Raw Underground. And MVP is like, Raw Underground is under new management. We're taking over. And then Dolph is like, all right, I'm leaving. Dolph just decides to leave for no reason. He was just there as filler, right? And then Bobby suplexes a guy and knocks him out with a punch. And MVP beats up a guy and Shelton whoops on a guy. And then they start beating everybody up ringside. By the way, while all this Raw Underground stuff is happening, there's this terrible, instrumental playing the whole time. There's this music going. It's, really annoying.
Oh, that's
And
true.
then,
I forgot about that.
right, the music like wouldn't stop. It was just always there. It was super annoying. And then Shane's like, okay, you've proven your point. Raw Underground, more next week. And I was like, what? And that's how Raw ended. So I don't understand. Like, MVP comes over and he's like, yeah, Raw Underground is under new management. We're taking over. He takes the mic and it's like, oh, okay, I guess Shane's only going to be here to introduce it. He's gone. But then as soon as they're done whooping on the guys, Shane's like, yeah, all right. So I guess it's not under new management. Shane is still in charge of Raw Underground. It was not what I would call good. It was different. It was like Lucha Underground meets Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, but with a WWE filter on it, so it's like not that cool. You know? That's what it felt like. It felt like a little bit like the Josh Barnett Bloodsport. If you haven't seen that, it's like a similar look. And Lucha Underground, you know, similar. Raw Underground, Lucha Underground, like they really didn't stretch there. But it's just like very WWE, and it's just like a segment on Raw. So it's not its own show. It's not really unique. It's not particularly good. Nothing really happened on Raw Underground that made me say, damn, I need to see more of that. I think we're supposed to like Dava Kato, but I guess that's the way, you know, they're using Raw Underground to build him into something. He's 7 feet tall. He looks impressive, but can he wrestle? Probably not. If he's doing this little spot here on Raw Underground, they're probably like, well, he's got a look, but he's not ready, so let's try to use him somehow. I don't think Raw Underground lasts 6 weeks. I think in 6 weeks' time, it'll be a memory. What do you think?
Well, at first I was like kind of misled a bit because I thought this was going to be like a new Brawl for All. And
that was a rumor.
Was far from, yeah, well, this was far from that. I mean, obviously right away it's fake, so that took away from it.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, it's no ropes and it's a weird setup. I bet that's fine. It's okay to be different. And I actually like Shane being back because it kind of makes sense. He can't be on Raw and SmackDown, but Raw Underground is its own little thing. So Shane could be on that. So I got no problem with that. That's fine. And I think there's potential where this could be really good because you have guys like Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, who have actual like legitimate experience in wrestling, MMA. So I mean, they could make this really spectacular. Actually, it's just I feel like some people it wouldn't be that good. I don't know if you noticed they had Dio Madden was there. I think he was the guy who faced like Sheldon.
Oh,
yeah, and like that didn't look impressive whatsoever because like he's fish out of water. Like, it's not his surrounding. Like he shouldn't be in this kind of thing. Like some people, it wouldn't work for them. So
yeah.
I feel like this works for some, but not for a lot of people though. So, I mean, that's great why Raw is still like the entertainment and you need that, but other people not so much.
It just didn't work for me because it was a bunch of squashes. Like nothing seemed competitive. It was supposed to be this like Fight Club, MMA style, whatever, but it was just a bunch of people getting beat up in like kind of shooty looking stuff. But it didn't seem competitive. Like if you're going to do Dolph Ziggler versus MVP next week on Raw Underground, okay, I might be more interested in that. You're going to do Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, Raw Underground. Okay, yeah. I'm interested in that. But like if it's just a way to squash people in a different setting, it's just another arena to do squash matches that don't really have an ending. Like, no. I'm not interested in that. And that's all it really was, right? It was a bunch of squashes. They're there to establish a concept, I get. But if it doesn't go past, like, just people getting squashed, I don't really see the point. Like, if Dava Kato and Bobby Lashley don't fight next week or the week after, this thing has no point, right? Like, You got to get this thing where it's like, boom, action, violence right away. You got to shock people. You got to show them this is different. This is something different. This is going to be something real, and you could buy into this. See this big guy, Davakato? He's 7 feet tall. He looked really impressive for a couple weeks. Now Bobby Lashley's going to beat the shit out of him for real. Once in a while, let them shoot. That's what I say. Once in a while, tell them, look, guys, this is a shoot. Have fun. Poor Davakato. He's like, I got to shoot Bobby Lashley, man? Come on, man. I'm sure there's a dumb guy out there who's like, yeah, I'll fight Bobby Lashley. I think I could beat him. Get Braun Strowman in there thinking he's tough for real. Let him see what it's really like to step into a ring with a real fighter, Do something like that. Give me something like that, Give me some giant guy in WWE who thinks he can really beat up Dolph Ziggler in a real fight. And then let Dolph just tool him around and mess with him for real. Give me that. Give me some violence. Give me something that, is a worked shoot. Give me something that looks like Pancrase. Give me something a little bit more violent. And don't just give me squash matches, because that's not how this Raw Underground concept is going to work. It's new. It's different. I'm giving it a chance, but I am not very optimistic for this or the Raw Sabotage concept. I think both new concepts that they debuted this week, they're grasping at straws. They're in desperation mode. They know they're in trouble. The Titanic is sinking. And this is not the life raft. This is not it. Titanic continues to sink. As far as I'm concerned, this is just another desperate attempt by the WWE to change things up, to shake things up. It's not working. It's desperation. That's what it smells like.
I don't know why they really needed dancers for this, just to add to the atmosphere. I really found the dancers didn't really add much to it. Plus, it didn't seem like they were actual dancers. It just seemed like people that just dressed up to be dancers. Like, I mean, come on, WCW did a lot better with the Nitro Girls. Like, WWE can't do it better? Like, come on.
Just the concept of dancing girls for the Raw Underground was just like, what? Who came up with that? Whose idea was that? Why? And then, of course, MVP has to end the show looking all strong because he started the show losing to Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews finally came back, and he is officially the U.S. champion now. So that was settled, and now MVP and his guys can move on to other things. Is Shelton still the 24/7 champion, or did he lose that? Is Truth the 24/7 champion now?
I think he lost, but didn't he lose it to Tozawa? Didn't Tozawa steal the title?
No, Truth stole the title, and then there was a match, Tozawa, Truth, and Shelton, and Tozawa beat Truth. Tozawa's the 24/7 champion. So, yeah, MVP and Shelton both lost their titles on Raw, yet they ended Raw Underground looking strong and on top. They can't beat Akira Tozawa or Apollo Crews, but they are the kings of Raw Underground. That's a great way to start the new concept, right? Establish these guys as losers. Like, okay, they can't beat Tozawa, they can't beat Apollo Crews, but they're the kings of this new concept that's really cool, so, yeah? Great. All on one 3-hour block of wrestling, too, by the way, right? It's not a great way to establish a new concept by, showing Shelton and MVP both lose their belts, but then by the end of the night, they're the kings of Raw Underground. That makes Raw Underground look like Jabroni Fest. Beating up Dio Madden. The guy, quit commentary. Come on. It's not good.
Well, I think this just goes to show that it's such a long show, you need something else to, fill it up, really, because, there's only so much you can do with just, repetitive matches over and over again. This actually adds something different to the show. Now they got to make it worthwhile. That's the thing. They introduced the concept, like you said, but now we need something more competitive.
I felt more real violence when Shayna punched Sasha in the face during that promo than all of Raw Underground. Shayna Baszler punched Sasha Banks in the face this week on Raw, and you could hear that shot. It was stiffsky. I loved it.
Well, if you notice, like Shayna could have broke Sasha's arm, but like she protected her arm from actually breaking. I don't know if you noticed, like in the arm bar that she had her in.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she kind of turned her arm around so it didn't kind of roll awkwardly. That was a decent match. Shayna and Sasha. But of course it goes to a no contest because WWE. Because Asuka attacked Bayley at ringside, so the match just ended. Which is odd. Because Asuka and Bayley weren't in the match. But Shayna and Sasha goes to a no contest when Asuka attacks Bayley, who was in Sasha's corner. They can't quite figure out how to finish any of these Sasha Banks matches, right? Like, every match Sasha Banks is in ends awkwardly. This was another one on Raw. Like, what?
Well, awkward finishes seem to be the recipe this week because we keep getting it throughout the week, unfortunately.
Yeah, some weird stuff all over the WWE. What was more violent, Raw Underground or Peyton and Billy Kay both slapping the taste out of Kevin Owens' mouth? That was fantastic.
It's kind of rough for Kevin that he took that, but, you know, whatever. That's fine.
I loved it. I love seeing the Iconics slap Kevin Owens. I don't know why. It was great.
Well, I'm looking forward to Kevin's match next week. He's going to be facing Randy. That should be pretty good.
You know what's going to happen there, right? Come on.
Well, Randy's probably going to win, right? I mean, because Randy's got the title match, so yeah, it makes sense. But still, it should be a good match.
Yep. But, again, Kevin Owens, you know, what's happening with him? He's just there. Okay, we talked about the bad of Raw. I want to talk about some good. There was good on Raw this week, and I am going to surprise you again. Okay, last week on the show, I shocked the Wrestling Uncensored universe by telling you all I believe Randy Orton should be the next WWE champion. And this week on the show, I am going to tell you that Drew McIntyre was the best part of Raw this week. And I will play you some of the promo, and we'll talk about the promo in just a moment. But before that, I want to tell you about our friends over at Stitcher. Go to Stitcher.com/premium. Use that promo code Ringside for a free month of Stitcher Premium. They've got the Wrestling Uncensored podcast. They've got Ringside Report MMA and over 100,000 other podcasts that you can listen to on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo, or in your car on demand, ad-free with Stitcher Premium. They've got Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. Just $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. But when you go to Stitcher.com/premium and use the promo code Ringside, you get a free month of Stitcher Premium, and you support the Ringside Report Network. Sign up today. Drew McIntyre killed it this week on Raw. This is a long promo. We're going to go in and out. We're going to play some bits and pieces here for you. I thought Drew's promo this week on Raw was the greatest promo of his career.
Okay, well, yeah, I can't think of any great promos he's done, so sure.
Let's hear a little bit of Drew versus Randy on Raw this week.
I know how motivated you are right now. You're just as motivated to take my WWE title as I am to keep it. The similarities, they don't end there, do they? Once upon a time, at one time or another, Vince McMahon himself looked at us right in the eye and told us we were the chosen one. We were the future of this industry. You know, things didn't quite go to plan. I think Edge said it best.
Yeah, a lot of breathing.
This wasn't your plan A. I don't know if it was your plan B or your plan C or plan D, to be honest. You didn't lie awake in Scotland as a kid, a country of 5 million people, thinking about how you were going to make it to the WWE, to be the first one for your country to ever do it, To grow up having everybody calling you crazy for dreaming so big, giving everything you could, sacrificing everything, and finally pulling it off. Did you, Randy? It was handed to you.
I mean, that, it's been said about Randy before, but I just thought that point from Drew right there at the beginning of the promo, talking about a country of 5 million people, laying awake at night as a little boy in Scotland, dreaming to be a WWE superstar, and then achieving that goal and becoming the first Scotsman to get a WWE contract and the first Scotsman to become WWE champion. Like, it's impressive, man. And I can understand how a lot of people growing up when Drew McIntyre, little Drew, was like, I'm going to be a WWE superstar. People are like, yeah, okay, you're Scottish. It's never going to happen. It's never happened before. And people laughed at him, and look at him now. Look at him now. So I got to give him his props for coming from Scotland and being the first. You're the first of anything. You're the first from your country to make it. I got a lot of time for that, so respect.
I don't resent you for it. No. I do find it interesting, though, when you brag about some of your accolades. Your early accolades I'm talking about. The ones that were fed to you on a silver spoon because your dad is Cowboy Bob Orton.
Okay.
I never rode in a limo with Evolution. Not that I wanted to. The biggest thing, the most important part, I never had anybody cleaning up after me like Evolution did for you. I had nobody with the influence of an Evolution. When I made my mistakes, I was punished for them. In fact, I was fired for them.
Triple H protected Randy all those years. Randy did some bad stuff, and Randy was never
released, though.
Oh, you mean he was released for like an hour and then rehired, you mean? Because he failed 3 wellness policy violations? And the deal was with the WWE that if you failed 3 drug tests, they would fire you. So they fired him and then just re-signed him to a contract immediately? Is that what you're talking about by Randy was released, John? I don't remember Randy's TNA run. I remember Drew's. Right? Come on. Be real.
I've said already. I deserved to get fired. But I've spoke to so many people around here over my years. I witnessed so much when I was younger. I've spoken to the people that cleaned up the crap, the legit crap that you left behind, and mate, you should have been fired way more times than I was fired.
That's true, man. Okay? He said the crap, cleaned up the crap, the legit crap. Like there are stories of Randy Orton defecating in some of the female talents' bags, and those stories have been backed up. Like, those are real stories. And Drew's bringing that up, and he's like, yeah, Randy, you should have been fired way more times than I was fired, and he's right. He's not wrong about that.
Randy, they start moving blood.
And here's Randy.
Drew, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to ask you, is my respect for you not punt kicking heads, an RKO and punt kick you? Fired multiple times, but I wasn't fired.
Good stuff from Randy here.
I should have been fired. Over and over and over again, I should have been fired multiple times, but I wasn't fired. You were fired. You want to know why? Because I am more valuable to this company than you ever were or ever will be. I have been given chance after chance, second chances, third chances, 4, 5, 6, the list goes on. I have been given those chances, Drew, because I am the chosen one. Then, now, and forever.
That's good shit, pal. That's good, right? That's good. He's right.
Very good writing.
Good writing, good delivery from Randy. Talking about how valuable he is to the company. It's good stuff.
Now, I think it's cute. It's real cute. You come out here and you're quoting legends. You're quoting Edge, but I dare you. In fact, I challenge you right now, in this moment, on that mic, in this ring, to come up with one opinion about Randy Orton on your own. Keyword, original.
It's a great line too. Fantastic.
He's supposed to say, you clearly he was supposed to say, I dare you to come up with one original opinion about Randy Orton on your own. Keyword, original. But he didn't say original, and then at the end he goes, keyword, original. When you say that, you're supposed to have said original prior. Like, he obviously botched the line, right? But that's Randy. You know, Randy screws up time and time again. It doesn't really matter. Remember when he cut that promo with Sheamus and he's like, what's my line? Sheamus is like, what? What's my line? So obvious on TV. Sheamus like tells him, looks all sad, like. And then Randy's like, yeah, my line was like so bad.
You're challenging me. You want to know what Drew McIntyre really thinks? You want Drew McIntyre to shoot with you, Randy? Okay. Randy, I think you represent everything that is wrong with the WWE. Just like everyone else, I watched the Last Ride documentary. The most interesting part of all to me was you. When you talked about how The Undertaker reached down and pulled you up to his level. And he didn't have to do that. Why did he do that? He loves this industry. He wants to preserve this industry. He cares about the future. How many times can Randy Orton honestly say over the past 20 years, he's taken a moment to reach down and pull up anybody to his level? Never. If you sat down with, I don't know, a Kevin Owens or a Apollo, a Ricochet, an Ali, anybody in the back, and passed on some of that knowledge that The Undertaker, that Shawn Michaels, that Triple H, that Ric Flair ever passed on to you? Huh? Oh, no, I've got one. How about 10 years ago? You remember there was a time in your career you were in a hole, Edge reached down, pulled you out? I remember you walking past me as I sat in catering. My world was crumbling around me. Professionally, personally, you knew that. I was far away from home. My mother was sick, and I was self-destructing, and a kind word from somebody like Randy Orton might have changed my life. But you didn't do a damn thing. I don't see a leader standing before me. I don't see somebody the boys in the back respect. I see a selfish prick. Here's what's gonna happen at SummerSlam, Randy. I have a
Yeah. He's going to kick his head off and da-da-da-da-da. But I thought that was a really good little promo from Drew McIntyre. I thought the emotion was there. I thought that the realism was there. You know, talked about how he was in a really bad place, and you know that he was in a bad place, and you know what happened when he got fired. If you guys don't remember, he got into a very public fight at a WWE hotel with his then wife, who was working for the company, and there was a big thing, and Drew was let go not long after that. Personal problems, family problems, all sorts of things. And Drew says Randy was never a leader. Randy never helped him or anyone else or elevated anyone else in the WWE for that matter. And, you know, that's been a thing that's been plaguing Randy for a long time. You look at his feud with Kofi Kingston and the history that he's had with Kofi, and you saw what happened there. He had a chance way back 10 years ago to elevate Kofi Kingston. He didn't take that opportunity. He buried Kofi. He probably stopped Kofi's momentum. And you look back at the career of Randy Orton, who did he elevate? Legacy? Cody and Ted DiBiase? Maybe. But did he bring them up to the main event level and keep them there like Undertaker did for him, like Edge did for him? I don't think so. I mean, Ted DiBiase is not in the wrestling business anymore, and Cody owns the competition. Not to say Randy didn't help Cody along the way, but he certainly didn't keep him in the main event. I mean, remember Stardust? So I thought that Drew brought up a really good point about the history of Randy Orton. Who has he elevated? Who? Like, John, you're Randy Orton's number one fan. I'm a John Cena guy, right? You look at John Cena. Look at who he elevated and made into superstars. Edge, Van Dam, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, even Roman Reigns. Who has Orton helped? You look at John Cena. You look at Triple H. You look at so many of the top stars in the history of the business and the guys that they have made. Ric Flair, There'd be no Sting without the Nature Boy. Who has Randy made? Who's Randy's Sting? I mean, we all know that Triple H made Randy, right? Triple H did everything he could to make Randy into a superstar and keep him in the WWE for the long term. But who has Randy made? Anyone?
Well, you're not going to like this, but I think Randy helped a lot with Bray Wyatt.
Okay. I'll give you that.
I'm surprised you agree with that. Wow, okay.
I mean, he did the favors for Bray. He had a big feud with Bray. It wasn't good stuff, though, right? Like, it wasn't good, but he definitely, he seemed to try to elevate Bray. I'll give you that.
I think he did as well. Like, I think he elevated the whole Wyatt family, just like being associated with them.
Okay. I mean, you could say he elevated the whole Wyatt family, but like only Bray remained. So really, what did he do? And Bray's not even Bray anymore.
Well, Bray's just whatever he wants to be, right? Because he was Bray for a little bit, but whatever. I mean, he's still a huge character in WWE. I think Randy helped a bit. I would even say Sheamus, but I think a lot of people obviously had a hand in Sheamus, but I think Randy had a hand there too.
Triple H, though, more.
Oh, you could say Triple H, you could say John Cena, but Randy's there as well. There was many months with him teaming and feuding with Randy for the WWE Championship.
Okay. I guess I'll give you that too, John, but I'm going to protest that. Maybe Bray Wyatt, but Randy hasn't really elevated a lot of guys, and I thought that Drew McIntyre promo was passionate, fiery, emotional, felt real, felt good. I thought that was the best thing on Raw and the best promo of his career. I was impressed. And I've been a big critic of Drew McIntyre, but what we do here isn't, pick our favorites and then just say, oh, everything they do is great, and, we're not completely biased like every other wrestling person out there, every other wrestling analyst out there. We're actually going to give you the straight truth, and we're going to tell you if something's good or something's not good because we really watch the show and we don't bullshit you. I'm not Drew McIntyre's biggest fan, but that promo was really fucking good. It was fucking solid work from Drew McIntyre. I'm happy for him. I think he broke out of his shell. He showed that he is a WWE champion. Like, he showed, okay, I can hang on the microphone with one of the bigger stars in the company. I can hang. And I can win. So I thought Drew won that promo. He won the night. He was the best part of Raw. I'm very happy for him. I want to see guys succeed. Like, this is what people don't understand about me. Like, if I'm shitting on somebody, it's not because I want to see them perpetually fail. It's because they're in a big spot on TV, and I'd like to see them be better because I'd like to be entertained. So I'm quite happy that Drew McIntyre did so well because he is the WWE champion, and I want the WWE champion to be able to cut killer fucking promos every Monday night. That's what I want. And this week, Drew succeeded, so I'm quite happy for him. Quite happy for myself because I get to watch a WWE champion now that hopefully we can start to believe in. It's been several months of this, but maybe Drew McIntyre will be the guy that Randy truly, truly makes. Where when we look back on Randy's career, we say, oh, well, where would Drew McIntyre be without that Randy Orton feud? Maybe that's what we get out of this. Last week, I was advocating for Randy to be the new WWE champion. This week, I'm impressed with Drew McIntyre. But 1 week doesn't necessarily make up for everything else we've seen from the guy. Shows promise. Shows potential. It's going to be a big couple of weeks. And I honestly don't know if the WWE has it all figured out for SummerSlam and who goes over, Drew or Randy. I think Drew has got a lot to prove. And he knows. Like, he was put in that spot. You saw the fire in his eyes when Randy challenged him to give one original thought about him. Like, Drew was like, okay, put his belt down. He's like, let's go. You could tell he was challenged, and he knows, like, this is crunch time here. I'm the WWE champion. I'm going into SummerSlam. I won at Mania. Traditionally, you win it at Mania, you probably lose around SummerSlam. It happens. I'm facing Randy Orton. Randy's got all this momentum. Edge is going to come back soon. Drew sees the writing on the wall. He knows he's in trouble. So he's got to stand up. He's got to deliver. And he did so on Raw. The next 2 weeks are going to be very important to see whether or not he stays WWE champion, I think. I don't think it's all said and done. You know, I don't think they have it set in stone as far as who wins at SummerSlam. And Drew has the opportunity now to hold on to his belt with more performances like that. So good on him. Congratulations.
Well, originally going into SummerSlam, this was supposed to be Randy Edge 3, right? So the fact that we're even getting this title match was just them changing things up. So who knows what they have planned, because I'm sure they're not even really thinking that all the way through. It seems like Raw and SmackDown changes on the day of all the time now, so I could easily see the pay-per-view change up as well. I just hope, again, because for some reason on pay-per-view we're not getting clean finishes, or finishes, period. I just hope we get a finish. I pray for that.
I think we will. It's a WWE Championship, but hey, you never know, right? Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott are back together. They got a win over the Iconics on Raw. Nia Jax cut a promo with Pat Buck, the official that she assaulted last week. She wanted to challenge Buck to a match. Buck wasn't interested and tells Nia that she's indefinitely suspended without pay. And then Nia pulls his jacket down and headbutts him, so I guess Nia's double suspended now or something. I don't know what's going on with Nia, and I don't really care. Dominic Mysterio. Okay, Dominic Mysterio. Seth Rollins cuts an in-ring promo. He's mad at Tom Phillips because Tom Phillips was cheering for Dominic when he assaulted him last week. Seth says it's time to find a new voice of Raw. Seth tells Murphy to take out Tom Phillips on commentary. Samoa Joe stands up because he's on commentary, and I guess he's done wrestling. I don't know what's going on with Samoa Joe. He's like the new Taz. He's a rocket buster. So Joe tells Seth and Murphy to back off because he's going to get in their face if they don't. And Murphy and Seth get in the ring, and they have chairs, and they're like, come on, Samoa Joe. And Joe looks like he's going to attack them. But then Dominic Mysterio appears from behind with a kendo stick. He attacks Seth and Murphy. Seth manages to take the stick away from Dominic, but then accidentally hits Murphy in the face with it. Dominic takes out Seth, hits him with a 619. Samoa Joe, despite the fact that it's a 2-on-1 scenario for Dominic, stays out of it and lets Dominic beat up Seth and Buddy Murphy at the same time, which he's successful in doing. And then Seth Rollins accepts Dominic Mysterio's challenge for a match at SummerSlam. This kid's debut match, Ray's chubby son, is going to wrestle his first match ever at SummerSlam against Seth freaking Rollins, the architect, the Monday Night Messiah, the former WWE champion, one of the top stars in the company. I guess the WWE's thinking is, well, we have to give Dominic a match at some point, and Seth is good enough to carry him through it. What the fuck? I don't want to see this shit. I don't like Dominic Mysterio, okay? I don't think he's good at anything. His promos are not believable. His ring work is like, it looks really kind of like pinball-y. Like he doesn't really know where he's going half the time. I don't see why I have to watch this kid on TV. He's not a wrestler. He's not jacked. He wears expensive clothes that most wrestlers couldn't even afford, let alone walk to the ring in with the risk of damaging that shit. The guy's wearing $1,000 hoodies and he's not worried about getting it ripped by Buddy Murphy. And he's wearing that shit. It's like, you haven't even earned it, Dominic. Your daddy bought you that shit. That's why you don't care about it, because you don't know the value of $1. Ray has obviously spoiled you, and that's okay. But Dominic hasn't earned a goddamn thing. He hasn't earned the designer clothes that he wears. He hasn't earned his WWE contract. And he sure as hell hasn't earned a SummerSlam match with Seth fucking Rollins. There are thousands of competent wrestlers out there who would kill for a chance to wrestle Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. But Dominic Mysterio, a chubby little guy who doesn't look like he belongs anywhere near a wrestling ring, a guy who looked like he couldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight, couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag, this motherfucker's wrestling Seth Rollins at SummerSlam? Get the fuck out of here. Who wants to see this shit? Who's a fucking Dominic Mysterio fan? Go fuck yourself, okay? Fuck Dominic Mysterio. He hasn't earned shit. He's a Mean Street Posse reject. Fuck him. He sucks. I hope Seth Rollins beats the living shit out of him. My favorite Dominic Mysterio moment was when Brock was tossing him around the ring. Fuck Dominic Mysterio. Ray's not even his poppy. Fucking ladder match, kid. This kid's fucking whole life is decided in a ladder match. He's not real. Fucking Dominic Mysterio, man. Fuck Dominic Mysterio. All right?
Well,
can you tell I don't like it?
To not confuse people, this isn't a ladder match, because I know you just mentioned a ladder match, but this isn't a ladder match between Seth Rollins and Dominic Mysterio.
Thank God.
I like that it's called Dominic Mysterio, by the way. I think that's really great. And that's the selling point to this match, is the fact that it's his first match. This is Rey Mysterio's son in his wrestling debut. What's it going to be like? That's the selling point.
Is Dominic Mysterio Dwayne Johnson or David Flair?
That's what we're going to find out at SummerSlam.
What do you think? By the look of it.
I would think more like a Shane McMahon kind of thing. Like, not the greatest wrestler in the world, but probably does some crazy stuff.
But Shane's a McMahon. You could get away with being a McMahon and with the personality too, like the promo, Dominic doesn't have that shit. And he's supposed to be a babyface. Are you rooting for him? Is anybody rooting for him?
I'm interested. I'm very interested to see what he could do in that ring. And he has a lot to live up to because he has the Mysterio name as well. So is he going to be able to hit a lot of Ray's moves in the match? Is he going to hit his own unique moves in the match?
Follow WWE logic for a second. Brock Lesnar beat the living shit out of Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez, right? Beat them both in wrestling matches. Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar twice. And now Dominic is going up against Seth Rollins? The man who beat the man who whooped on his father and whooped on him and whooped on the guy who came in as enforcement for him and his father, right? Remember when Brock was beating up on Dominic and Ray and Cain Velasquez showed up to be like their enforcement and then Brock beat him too? And then Seth beat Brock and now Dominic's wrestling Seth? It just doesn't make sense. Booking-wise, it doesn't make sense. Wrestling-wise, it doesn't make sense. The fact that I have to sit through fucking Dominic Mysterio against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, get the fuck out of here, man. That's bullshit.
It isn't about like, can Dominic beat Seth? It's the fact that he's getting revenge for his father. That's it. It's not about if he can win this match. I mean, clearly he shouldn't win this match whatsoever, but it's just getting some revenge. That's it.
He shouldn't even be in this match. It's stupid.
Well, what else are they going to do? The problem is they already did the match with Seth and Ray. So what else do they have? This is the only interesting selling point that they have to go with.
I don't know. Have another Seth and Ray match, but like a good one that's not eye for an eye, you know? I don't know. I mean, look, it's going to happen. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I just think it's fucking stupid. And I don't believe Dominic Mysterio is going to be a big star in professional wrestling. And I don't really think he deserves to have a match at SummerSlam when I know that there are hundreds and thousands, really, of wrestlers out there that would love the shot and that would do way better than Dominic. But those guys aren't Rey Mysterio's son. Like, Johnny North versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam would be fucking good. You know? Like, I'd pay to see that. That'd be good. And you'd kill for that. Like, you'd love that, right? That would be a dream come true for you. And you can't afford a $1,000 Givenchy hoodie to wear out to the ring. Right? And your dad didn't buy that for you. I'm just annoyed because I see Dominic in a fucking... he's got new Yeezys every time I see him. He's wearing Yeezys to the ring. I pay for my Yeezy collection. Rey Mysterio didn't pay for my fucking Yeezys, okay? And, like, Dominic, he wears them to the ring. Like, he's not worried about getting them scuffed up or whatever. Fuck you, Dominic. All right? And I'll tell you something else. I don't think Dominic belongs in a WWE ring because when I see him, I think, I could beat the shit out of Dominic. Like, Dominic isn't beating anybody up. Dominic doesn't look scary. Dominic looks weak as fuck, man. He's not jacked. He's like in terrible shape. He doesn't even look like the guy's apparently been trying to be a wrestler. Fucking hit the gym, man. Have you ever heard of a bench press? He looks like shit.
Well, to be fair, like when his dad, like I saw his dad wrestle for the first time, looked like a little kid wrestling. I mean,
okay, but he did some of the most amazing shit you've ever seen in your life. Okay, when his dad wrestled, you're like, who's that guy? He's tiny. And then he started moving, and you're like, oh my God, is he superhuman? What's going on here? How does he move like that? It blew your mind. You can look like shit in wrestling, but you have to be mind-blowingly fucking good in the ring. Dominic isn't that. Like, okay, Randy Orton was given a lot of shit that he didn't necessarily deserve because of nepotism, but he looked the part. Roman Reigns was given a lot of shit that he didn't necessarily deserve because of nepotism, but he looked the part. John Cena was pushed really hard when he was super green, but he was jacked to the gills. Dominic looks like shit, man. I got bigger arms than Dominic. Okay? I'm not a wrestler. I don't even lift weights. It's fucking pathetic, okay? I don't want to see that shit. It's no bueno. You got to have some thickness to it. You got to be a little muscular. You can't be skinny fat. It's no good. He makes fucking Otis look like Lex Luger. I mean, get out of here.
I wouldn't go that far, but this is wrestling 2020 now, unfortunately, where your shape isn't the main factor anymore.
It fucking better well count though for something. You got to look imposing. I'm sorry. You got to look imposing if you want to be a professional wrestler. You hear that, Orange Cassidy? Fucking Demo God's going to squash you, make juice out of you next week, I hope. If fucking Jericho loses to Orange Cassidy, man, I quit wrestling. I'm just done. All right? That's ridiculous.
Uh-oh. I'd be very worried then.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm sincerely...
Might be the last show.
Well, that's fine. I think I hate wrestling, you know? I love wrestling, but the more I watch it, the more I'm like, I think I hate this shit. I don't really enjoy it. I watch it, I'm like, maybe I hate wrestling. There are things few and far between that I enjoy. Matt Riddle and Sheamus, I fucking love that. That was great, man. On SmackDown, oh my God, they were kicking each other's asses, man. Physical, hard-hitting, grappling, everything that I want in a wrestling match, except a finish, of course. Because Shorty G attacked Matt Riddle, which caused the disqualification. No, Shorty G, attacked Riddle, which caused a disqualification win for Riddle, right? Shorty G, he's being Baron Corbin's guy to attack Riddle, the King's ransom, because Baron Corbin hates Matt Riddle. But of course, Sheamus got really mad because, he lost the match because of Shorty G. So he's mad at King Corbin. And Corbin's like, look, I don't have time for you. I have to wrestle Jeff Hardy tonight. So then Sheamus, of course, attacks Jeff Hardy, causing a disqualification win for Hardy, costing King Corbin the match. And then Sheamus and King Corbin have a match for some reason, where Matt Riddle interferes, distracts King Corbin to allow Sheamus to hit a bro kick and get the win over King Corbin. So Riddle and Corbin still beefing. Sheamus and Corbin, I guess their feud's been resolved. Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, I guess, still don't like each other, but Sheamus is maybe slowly turning babyface. Explain this to me. What was happening on SmackDown?
Well, what I took from this is that you can't have a match without interference of some kind. Apparently, every match needs some sort of interference. So that had to happen. Okay. And apparently Sheamus turned face. That's what I took from that. Did he not? Like,
did he
attacked the heel?
But he still attacked Jeff.
Attacked another heel? Yeah, but I guess him, they still have a little bit of some issues there. They still don't like each other kind of thing, but he really doesn't like the heels that much. So that's the main thing that I took from that, is that Sheamus is pretty much turning face. And I'm guessing the Fiend's going to need new challengers once he's done with Braun Strowman.
Do you think the Fiend takes the title from Strowman at SummerSlam?
I questioned it after this week, because it seemed like Strowman is coming back and he's going to be darker now, I guess. So if there's going to be a new Strowman, then maybe he's going to get the edge, because right now it's 1-1, right? So maybe not.
You're right about the you're right about the interference though on SmackDown. Like, every match ended with some sort of screwy interference finish. Even the Cesaro Lince Dorado match, like Shinsuke was there and he distracted Dorado, which led to Cesaro taking control and winning. Like, Cesaro still kind of won on his own, but there was still a little bit of sneakiness there from Shinsuke. Main event was Heavy Machinery versus Miz and Morrison. That went to a no contest when Mandy Rose and Sonya just started attacking each other. Mandy's got a new haircut. And, that's still going on. I guess Mandy versus Sonya. I don't think we're going to see the hair versus hair match, but it would be nice for SummerSlam. Stephanie McMahon made an appearance on SmackDown. Bayley and Sasha in the ring. Stephanie appears on the big screen. And she's like, Sasha Banks and Bayley, you will both have to defend your titles at SummerSlam. Sasha Banks, you may have to defend your title against Asuka.
Maybe.
Maybe. She didn't say, like, if you don't, it will be this person. It was just like, you may defend against Asuka. Wink, wink, wink. Because Bayley is supposed to wrestle Asuka, and if Asuka wins on Raw, then she gets a title match at SummerSlam against Sasha. So it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Asuka will get the title match, but Stephanie couldn't say that because SmackDown happens before Raw. But, like, when she says, like, Sasha, you may have to wrestle Asuka, and Bayley, at SummerSlam, you will wrestle the winner of a tri-branded battle royal that will take place next week on SmackDown. So it's like, I have a plan for you, Bayley, and we have a plan for you, Sasha, but we can't really tell you that it's Asuka because there's still a match to happen on Raw, but, like, come on. So that was dumb. And Bayley will take on the winner of a battle royal featuring SmackDown, Raw, and NXT wrestlers. That will happen on SmackDown next week. Winner faces Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's title. Who wins that? Charlotte Flair? Charlotte Flair's return, maybe?
I really hope it's Rhea Ripley, actually.
Oh. Rhea versus Bayley at SummerSlam. That'd be pretty big. I'd like to see that. Put Bayley over another top star in WWE. Yes. Yes.
Well, you just need a unique match because, I mean, Bayley's faced everybody, right? So that would be something different.
All right. Let's go to AEW. Let's switch gears over to our friends over at AEW. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20 for 20% off your order plus free shipping. We're all using the Manscaped products. We've got the Lawnmower 3.0 now available in Canada. Go get yourself a Lawnmower 3.0. What are you waiting for? It's the best razor on the market. It shaves everything down. Johnny North is looking all smooth and tight and trim. Everything's looking good because we are Manscaped. Looking great all over the place, okay? The people that see your balls will thank you. Your balls will thank you. But not only that, the people that see your balls, the people that are around your balls. Are you a grappler? Are you doing wrestling? Are you doing jiu-jitsu? Are you doing professional wrestling? Sometimes your balls might get in other people's faces. There's nothing wrong with that, but you want to smell good. Be a gentleman, okay? Put some nice deodorant on your balls. Put some nice cologne on your balls. Use some of that Manscaped crop stimulant, to make your balls smell nice and fresh for everybody involved, for your lovers and your fighters in your life, okay? Be a gentleman. You don't want stinky balls. You don't want to say, hey, I was in this guy's north-south the other day, and his balls were stinking. No. Manscaped.com, promo code Ringside20. No one will ever complain about your stinky balls ever again. Manscaped.com, promo code Ringside20 to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. It's a tremendous deal. You support your balls, you support yourself, you support your life, and most importantly, you support us, the Ringside Report Network. Okay? Okay. Hit us up on Super Chat while you're at it. Boom, 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 boom! What's up, John? AEW?
It was pretty good this week, I have to say. One of the better episodes of Dynamite I think they've had in a while.
Dark Order beating FTR and the Elite. The Elite. Brody Lee getting the 1-2-3 on Hangman Page after a discus clothesline. Surprised Hangman took the fall in this one.
Well, I think it was good for them because the tag champions seem to always win, right? So the fact that showed that they were kind of weak, they lost. However, I mean, it was 6-on-4. I mean, it's not that big of a loss because FTR had to leave the match.
Why did FTR have to leave the match?
Because I think it was Harwood suffered an injury, and then his partner left with him. So
Harwood, wasn't he the guy from the theater there in Seinfeld? Harwood, the Alex,
possibly.
Anyways, Jeffrey Harwood something. Anyways, so one of the revivals gets hurt in the match, and then Hangman and the other revival just leave the match.
6-on-3 is rough.
Usually in wrestling, when one guy gets hurt, he sits on the ring apron or down on the mat, and doctors check on him, and the rest of the team stays in the match. But that's not what happened here. Hangman and the other revival guy had to leave the match to go tend to their injured friend, leaving the match that's in progress that they could have easily lost. Why do pro wrestlers have matches? Is there a point?
Because they want to win matches?
Do they? If Hangman Page and the other revival guy and even the hurt revival guy, if they really cared about winning the match, do you think they all would have went backstage? Okay, the guy's hurt. I get it. But shouldn't he tell his partner and Hangman, no, stay. I'll be okay. Stay at the match because we want to win the match, because winning matches is what wrestling is all about. Shouldn't he be protesting? Say, no. Let's be 6-on-5. Not 6-on-3, guys. We could totally lose. Wrestlers should want to win their matches. And when they don't care at all, it's what? Asuka did it last week. She had a title match. She went backstage to help her friend Kairi Sane. This week, Hangman's in a match, and he leaves when his buddy gets hurt. It's fucking stupid.
Well, to be fair, Paige came back, though.
Yeah, he came back. What about the other revival guy? He doesn't care about winning matches? He didn't come back. He wasn't hurt. The non-bald one? The other one?
Cash Wheeler?
Who cares? It doesn't matter what his name is. Honestly, I'm not learning their names. Their names are so dumb. Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Are those their names?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I didn't know their names when they were in the WWE. It's Bald Revival and Other Revival. Okay? And until they do more, or impress me a little bit more, or I care about them a little bit more, or they have better names because their fucking names are stupid as hell. Sorry. No, I'm not learning their names. Okay? Bald Revival and Other Revival. I still can't really tell the Usos apart, so fuck it. Okay? I don't care. These guys don't mean that much to me.
If anything now, this is just going to build towards this feud that's probably going to happen between FTR and Kenny and Hangman, I think. Probably lean to the pay-per-view match.
Yeah, for sure. FTR and Hangman versus Kenny and the Young Bucks, that's a match that's going to happen. Don't know when.
Oh, no. I'm thinking FTR against the tag champions.
Well, Hangman's such good friends with them. That doesn't make sense.
That's where the conflict will arise in that match, where it's like, oh, I'm friends, but I got to defend the belts.
I think FTR and Kenny and Hangman versus Kenny and the Bucks is more likely right now. That's what it seems like they're driving towards. But I think both matches do make sense, and the story is interesting. And I like that the Dark Order picked up the win there in the match. Although I had problems with the match, and I'm not a big fan of a 12-man tag. It's like, oh fuck, 12-man tag, really? It's a little much, man. It's too many guys.
It's a lot, but for a 12-man tag, I thought they did pretty good. Like, it was all over the place, but it was still exciting to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's just like the guy's injured and like half the team leaves. I was like, okay, this is dumb. Jon Moxley does a backstage promo. I thought his promo was really good, talking about the demons he wrestled early in his career and people trying to talk him out of doing certain matches, and how Darby Allin is kind of in the same spot that he was in early in his career, and he sees a lot of himself in Darby. And now Darby's taken on, he's biting off more than he can chew, kind of like what Moxley was doing early in his career, except Darby's now doing it with Moxley, And he says, look, he doesn't want to end Darby's career, but the title's on the line, so he's got to do what he's got to do. I thought that promo was really good. I was happy with that Moxley promo. What's going on this week? I'm liking Drew McIntyre promos, Jon Moxley promos. These guys that have been kind of sleeping for a while, they woke up this week.
Well, I think, to be fair, that Moxley-Darby Allin match was fantastic, no? Like, I really enjoyed that match a lot. Like, yeah. I know a lot of people don't like Jon Moxley, but that match, that was fantastic. That was his best match I think he's had maybe ever in AEW.
Wow, really?
That was really good. I thought it was just great storytelling. And I know Darby, it's obvious he's not going to win that match, but it was still fun to watch.
That's the problem. Like, I would have preferred the match be non-title, so we'd have a little bit more mystery. The fact that it was a title match on Dynamite, when Moxley's beat so many guys already, it's kind of like, okay, well, there's only one way this is going to go. It was a good match. Like, I enjoyed it for sure, but there was a level of suspense that wasn't there, because the title was on the line and you just knew, right?
Right, but this will help going forward where it's like, well, he got through another one. Now he's going to be able to get through MJF.
And I liked MJF showing up. I thought it was really smart that he shows up and tries to cost Moxley the match because he knows that Darby Allin is the weaker opponent and he wants Darby Allin to be his opponent at All In for the AEW Championship. I thought that was good, but of course it backfired and didn't work on him. MJF versus Jon Moxley is official for AEW All Out. We have 4 more weeks of Dynamite before the next pay-per-view, All Out from AEW. MJF's promo this week at his campaign headquarters and all that stuff. Not my favorite MJF promo. I didn't like that too much.
Well, I think, they had the great idea last week. That was really good, that kind of pipe bomb kind of promo. This was just more to add on to it. It's a tape show, so it's just more to showcase him that he's there. But there was a lot to highlight on this show, so I think it was more of just like, well, let's throw him in somewhere kind of thing, and that's what we got.
Best Friends getting the win over Proud and Powerful. After the match, though, Proud and Powerful not happy. They smashed up the Best Friend's mom's minivan, Trent's mom's minivan. And, that made the Best Friends very mad. And they want revenge. And I think they're going to do a rematch at some point. I don't know when. Coming up on Dynamite Wednesday, though, should be a good show. Cody Rhodes will be defending the TNT title against Scorpio Sky. Kenny Omega and Hangman defending the tag team titles against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in a $7,000 obligation match, whatever that means. I guess if Jericho wins, he has to give Orange $7,000, but if Orange wins, he gets $7,000 from Jericho, right? There's $7,000 on the line in the match, right? Whoever loses has to give the winner $7,000 because Jericho's jacket was $7,000 and was ruined by Orange Cassidy dumping all the orange juice on him. So that's that. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson will be taking on the Young Bucks, and it's Tag Team Appreciation Night hosted by the FTR. Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, and the Rock and Roll Express will all being advertised for this. I don't really know what's going to happen, but it's Tag Team Appreciation Night and a couple of really good tag team matches coming up Wednesday night on Dynamite. Solid tag team match from Matt Cardona and Cody Rhodes against the Beaver Boys. Silver and Reynolds from the Dark Order. Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Matt Cardona, making his AEW debut. Looking huge, right? Super jacked. Look great.
Well, it's amazing that was his first match in almost like half a year. Mm-hmm. He didn't do much, but I get why. Like, it's first time in the ring in so long, like, kind of rusty a bit. I really was impressed, like, super impressed with Reynolds and Silver. I thought they did really good. I was actually pulling for them to win because I'm like, man, they look like a fantastic tag team.
I'm a really big fan of Silver. He's a shorter one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. On Being the Elite, he's a star of that show. He's really good. He's funny. He's got a character. He's really good. The guy can cut a promo. He can talk. He's got a look. He can wrestle. I'm a fan of that guy. Yeah, I can see why they brought them in, and they're kind of using them in different roles.
Well, they're good. Like, hopefully they go higher in the tag team division. I know they're kind of like at the low end right now, but hopefully they'll continue to go up. I mean, I think they just recently finally got AEW contracts, so hopefully this is going to turn in their favor.
They've got a long road ahead. The AEW tag team division is stacked, right? You want to move up in that division, it's tough. The Young Bucks are there. Kenny and Hangman are there. FTR's there. The Lucha Brothers are there. It just kind of goes on and on. The Dark Order, I mean, even in the Dark Order, they're the second-ranked tag team, even in their own group, right? Uno and Grayson, they're the tag team. Silver and Reynolds, they're kind of the jobbers of the group. So I agree. I think they're talented, but they're not going to get there anytime soon. Eric Bischoff back on TNT Wrestling. That just seemed right. He's back and better than ever. He was the moderator for the debate between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Jericho did most of the talking about Orange Cassidy and how people think he's a joke and they laugh behind his back, and Orange was not saying very much, and Jericho's just kind of making fun of Orange Cassidy. And then Bischoff asked a question about global sea levels, and then Orange had a very well-thought-out response to that. Of course, a little comedic bit there. Orange doesn't speak, but of course he's very well thought out with, global sea levels, which is just kind of dumb. I didn't think that was very funny. It's like shitty humor. And then Orange finally did cut a serious promo eventually there. Told Jericho that it's the biggest match of both their careers, and how's Jericho going to feel when he loses to the guy with his hands in his pockets. And then Bischoff declared Orange Cassidy the winner of the debate. Jericho told Bischoff, I never liked you. Jericho gets mad. He sends Jake Hager to go beat up Orange Cassidy. And then Jericho hits the Judas effect on Orange before the best friends can jump in the ring and make the save. So Jericho beats up Orange here, wins the first match, and now they have a second match next week. Orange is probably going to win. Maybe setting up the trilogy at All Out, I guess. I don't know what else Jericho does.
Well, he's not going to be facing Tyson. Tyson's kind of busy. Tyson's facing Jaws, and I think Tyson, I think his fight is very close. Yeah, he's gonna be facing Jaws this Sunday.
He's doing like a shark,
I think
Shark Week thing. He's like fighting a shark or something. Fucking stupid. And then he's like having a boxing match with Roy Jones, but like anything that's called an exhibition, it's not a real fight. It's fucking bullshit. Everybody buys into that shit. It's fucking stupid. And if it was a real fight, Mike Tyson would be getting his ass kicked, okay? If I could put money on that, which I don't even know because usually you can't put money on a work, but I'd put my money on Roy Jones. Okay?
Well, the problem with the Roy Jones fight, I think it's the week after All Out, so I don't think there's any way we're going to see Tyson Jericho at All Out. I mean, maybe for the pay-per-view in November, but that'd be it. So, yeah, maybe Jericho Orange Cassidy again.
I think that's where we're headed. I think Orange wins the rematch, and then we have the trilogy match, unfortunately, at All Out. Big Swole beat a Reba, whatever she's called, in a very short match there. Britt Baker says Swole had to beat Reba to get the match with her at All Out. And there's been a lot of talk this week about AEW maybe dropping the ball for their women's division. Not a lot of progress, not a lot of stars, not a lot of focus. They had one women's match on the show this week, and it lasted about 60 seconds. It was kind of a joke. Brandy Rhodes launched AEW Heels and something, a website and portal for women wrestling fans. And then they were charging $50 to join this club, and Brandy took a lot of heat. And then she started arguing with people on Twitter, and then she deleted her Twitter account. So
seems like what usually happens in AEW land.
Could you imagine Stephanie McMahon like getting into arguments with fans and then deleting her Twitter account when she couldn't take the heat? Could you imagine?
It'd be pretty funny if that happened.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty funny that it's happening here with Brandy. What's going on, Brandy? She does not seem like she's got things under control.
Well, I'm guessing you didn't watch they had the women's tag tournament cup thing. It started on Monday. So they had a couple of matches when you think about it this week.
Yeah, just not on Dynamite. People are upset that there's just not a lot of development, progress in the women's division.
I think with the tag tournament, there could be a lot of development. I mean, I saw Medusa. Medusa's not in the tournament, but at least I saw her. That was nice. Tay Conte started with AEW, and she was great in NXT, so I think she could be great in AEW. I saw a lot of potential. The matches weren't great, but at least they're getting new faces.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see it. Because it was on, it wasn't on Dynamite, and it was just like, yeah, whatever. Maybe I'll get around to it. Maybe I won't. I didn't see it because I don't really care. Just AEW, they don't really, especially the people in charge, not really great at taking criticism, especially online. Both Young Bucks deleted their Twitter about a month ago. Now Brandy deletes her Twitter. She can't take the heat. Charging people $50 to join some portal. People are mad. I don't know. It's not good. www.ringsidereport.net is where you need to go to catch everything that we do. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And when you do, click the bell. Thank you. So you get notifications every time that we are on. And don't forget to sign up with our friends over at IPVanish. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net, vpn.ringsidereport.net. Secure yourself on the internet. Go to IPVanish. Thank you to our friends over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off, plus free shipping on your whole order. And Stitcher Premium. Go to stitcher.com/premium. Use that promo code Ringside for a free month. Follow Johnny North on all his social media, at North Genesis on Twitter, at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. Follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. For Big Johnny, I'm Dave Simon. This has been Wrestling Uncensored. Johnny North, say yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Woo!